I brought up here. Obviously, this one's incredibly popular in the culture. You've got the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus or Heru. Clearly, you can see the identifications on the side that they're set up on. And if I'm remembering this correctly, the Eye of Ra obviously represented the sun, right? And it was linked to his mythology. The Eye of Heru was, the left eye was linked to the moon, and I believe it was linked to Thoth, if I'm correct.
Yes, correct. Yes,
yeah,
and also it was we're talking about Tahuti.
Yes.
Okay. And we were talking about, right, the Moon Knight character, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it goes right back to the Moon Knight character, which again, a modern telling using that same mythology.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and again, people don't understand that when you're talking about a certain representation of the eye, you have to be very distinct because they are different.
Right.
So you have to be able to understand what you're actually talking about. So that's why when I always ask someone, which eye is it?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
They say, oh, it's the Eye of Heru, right?
Right.
And I say, well, if you're talking about the Eye of Heru or the Eye of Horus, are you referring to the Eye of Tahuti?
Right.
Right? And so people are, right, they kind of give me a look.
Uh-huh.
And these are people who tattooed on their arms.
Yeah.
And so I asked them just because I want to see if they're knowledgeable of which eye it is that they have on their shirts or which eye they're wearing or so on and so forth.
Right, because it's easy to confuse the two. But if we go back to the mythology, remember, Atum early in creation, he created an eye. He was all by himself. He created his eye first. Right. And his eye was his primary protector against Apep. Correct. And then he sends out his children. I'm thinking, okay, if I'm getting that right, it was Tefnut and Shu, right? He sends them out to find a place for creation, and they are gone for so long that he ends up sending his eye out to find them.
Yeah.
Leaving himself defenseless, so he creates another eye. And I think the two eyes, now if I'm right, the first eye was more of a female engendered.
Correct.
And the second was a male gendered eye. But they were, and there was a little bit of rivalry between two eyes, and then they were able to kind of resolve that scenario.
Right. Bringing harmony together.
Bring that harmony. With the Eye of Heru, remember in his battles against Set loses, I think, his testicles. Heru loses his eye, and his eye was restored by Jehuti.
Correct.
So that's kind of the story kind of behind both those eyes. One representing, again, solar energy, solar power from Ra. The other one, because it was restored by Jehuti, represented the moon, was a lunar aspect. Mm-hmm. And then together you have, again, amazingly, a sense of balance.
Like 100%.
Right? I mean, that's kind of the amazing part of it. So